All right, good evening, everybody. What's going on? Sorry, no intro video tonight. We're going to get right to it. I apologize for being a few minutes late. Can I just be real with you guys? I just lost a little track of time. It's all my fault, but don't worry. I got everything lined up for you guys. We got a good show tonight. We got a lot to talk about. Man, this whole thing with Trump and the sedition with the Democrats. Oh man, this is something we got to parse through because there's a lot of narratives coming from both sides. And I'm going to tell you guys what's really going on, at least as far as I see it. And usually, you know, we have a decent record on this stuff. Plus, we got to talk about the stock market because, man, oh man, it was crazy today. Pump from NVIDIA, then dump. Are we at the beginning of a stock market crash? I don't know, but there are some red flags out there, but also good news maybe coming into next year. The Cheney funeral showing the deep state in full force. We're getting glimpses of that and people coming out of the woodwork. Plus a lot of little small things that are very interesting we're going to touch upon towards the end here. And, you know, we're going to get to it. Oh, and Candace Owens caught in a ridiculous mistake she made. And I can't wait to talk about that either because, oh man, she's getting crazy. Anyways, what's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to America Fire. I am Ace. I'm your host. I will be taking you through all today's news with the best lens I can possibly give you, cutting through the BS narratives and nonsense they all want you to believe, and so you can be empowered to think and see things for yourself. That is what I'm here for. And I love the chat. So please throw your questions and comments in the chat. I will hit them up as best I can. You do have to subscribe to be in the chat. So don't be shy, guys. Support the channel by subscribing. X, I can't see you in the chat. I apologize for that. Hopefully Elon fixes that at some point. But you can like and repost. That goes for all of you too. Like, repost, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. I appreciate it. Let's go through the chat, say hey to everybody, and then we're going to get right into it. What to do? The one, numero uno tonight. Wago Waco, what's up, brother? Frank Anastasio, Nick Majors, Toe Cramp, Scott Volkovich, Jack Hamilton, my bad. US Tahoe, Linda Telly, Fro Girl, Rum Dog Hasink, Stephanie Bridges, Candace Morrison, Capote, Beathies, I like it. Rum Dog, RB Davis, what's up? Shogun's in the house. Kim Wiley, Kathy's here. Mike Mishler, Drew Savala, Q Alerts over there on Rumble, and Alice Fordham. And who's that? Action Not Towards What's Going On. It's weird. It's not showing me your guys' names tonight. It's showing me your handles. So if I call out your name wrong, I apologize. It's not actually showing me your name. That's strange. I've never seen that before. Huh. Weird. Let's see. Yeah, well, illegal orders. Well, we're going to talk about that. Don't worry. I'm always late like Trump. Well, you got to know, you know, that's my boy right there. He teaches me how to do things, you know. I'm following in his footsteps. Man, you got to make an entrance, right? That's how you got to do these things. Rum Dog says they specifically don't. Oh yeah, don't worry. I'm not. Listen. You're jumping ahead, friend. But I know you guys are excited. I can tell. So let's get right to it. So today, this is so insane. I just don't think we've ever seen anything like this before. But I'm gonna play the video first, and I'm gonna let you guys, and just in case you haven't seen it, I'm going to play the video, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to break it all down because this caused a crazy amount of drama today. Here we go.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens like us You all swore an oath.
to protect and defend this Constitution,
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad.
But from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Wow. Wow. Just crazy. I mean, where do you even go with that? Now, first of all, let's just talk about what we just saw. We literally just saw 6 Democrats, senators. I think they were all senators. I didn't recognize a couple of them. They were weirdos. They're not important. But 6 senators who all just basically told the military, or basically insinuated to the military, hey, don't do this. Don't listen to the commander in chief. And this is a major problem. It's when you start having the elected officials in what's technically supposed to be the most powerful branch of the government. Article 1 is Congress. It's not actually the most powerful branch anymore, but that's how it was intended. But it, co-equal. Basically telling our boys in uniform, boys and girls now, you don't have to listen to this man. Now, the problem is they're not specific. They're flat out telling everybody, hey, you get to decide what's illegal. That's the insinuation. And now they're out there trying to cover themselves with saying, oh, we didn't, say it. We were just letting them know they can do it if they want to because it's a trying time. Well, read the room, peeps. I mean, in this trying time, there's Mark Kelly, that guy. That's who everybody was like, oh, if he runs, he would have been president if they would have chosen him instead of Kamala. No, he wouldn't. And then look at this guy. I mean, come on, man. Eat some red meat, bro. You need, jeez Louise. You can say beta male? But, I mean, there is no other way to say this. This is incitement to treason, basically. This is, or sedition, sedition is basically looking to bring people up to overthrow the government. Treason is when you're telling you're a foreign power. You're colluding with a foreign power, conspiring with a foreign power to overthrow a government. Sedition is when you do it at home. So it's really the same thing as treason. And that's basically what these people are asking to do. Now, I don't know about you guys, but where I come from, in my home, if my kids were flat out telling my other kids, hey, you don't have to listen to dad if he gives you a legal order, but not telling them, like, it's not like we're saying don't kick a dog, don't throw a cat in the road. It's not something terrible. It's literally the stuff you're trained to do. This is stuff that can be litigated in courts. He's not turning fire on American civilians. They know that. They're trained in that. This message is completely irrelevant. It's unnecessary. But why do it now? Because it's Trump. And because they're losing. Now, despite what's been going on in the media, folks, despite what everybody's telling you and what all these polls are coming out right now, and they're just saying, hey, the end is near for MAGA, as Nick Fuentes proclaimed the other day, MAGA's dead. Yeah, they're really pushing that narrative right now. Trump's poll numbers are the lowest he's ever been. He's falling apart. It's all falling apart. Everybody's doing podcasts now and how mad they are as MAGA and how Trump's failing. And man, we just can't believe he's fallen so far. Oh, it's all coordinated, as I called out 2.5 weeks ago, and I got more evidence to prove you guys that I was right on track with that tonight. But this shows you that MAGA's not dead. That in fact, they're scared. And they know that if they don't strike right now, it's really going to turn on them, because right now, end of 2025, the first year of Trump's term, towards the end of Trump's term, they're no longer going to have the Epstein files to dangle over his head. In fact, it's going to backfire on them, as it's already been doing. They're not going to be able to pull off another government shutdown like they just did, where they tried to tank the economy. Trump's already taking healthcare away from them, which is going to be their biggest issue, and that's done. He's ending the wars, so they can't get him stuck in those. They're running out of their bullets to fire at him. And so what do they do today? Hey, we're going to try to get the military to turn on him. And Trump, in the way Trump can do, I mean, Trump minced no words today. He started blasting it out. Seditious behavior punishable by death. Them some strong words, folks. Strong words. And we hear the whole left erupting over that. We got Chucky Schumer on the floor screaming it out. How dare you? We got Hakeem Jeffries saying, we have our president who's threatening Congress. Well, you guys fired first. And I got to tell you right now, this is what I voted for. This is what I voted for. A president who's not taking it, who's not backpedaling, who's not saying, oh, well, maybe we'll tell the military to be a little nicer, who's not accepting and letting something like this go by the wayside, but instead saying, you guys want to play ball? Let me remind you where that ends. You guys want to try to overthrow me? You want to try to get rid of me? You want to try to convince the military to turn against their commander-in-chief constitutionally? You guys want to do that? I tell you what. It only ends one way for you guys. It's at the end of a noose. And I'm sorry, but this is why we need Trump. Because another Republican would try to play nice. Another Republican would have done a little press conference and said, well, we're outraged by this, and it's, I think it was inappropriate how they said it. But they have their right to free speech, and they would have played politics. Trump, no politics. Go for the neck. Reposted this. Hang them. George Washington would. Brilliant. Why is it brilliant? A, backs up the whole death for seditious conspiracy, seditious speak, by people in the government, in the co-equal branch. But also, this alludes back to our greatest president, George Washington, the founder of the country, the man who set the standard. Well, if George Washington would do it, okay. And what we're finding right now, so we have Rich Barris and Mark Mitchell of Rasmussen Reports, who I've had my issues with and how they've been dealing with stuff, but I've been listening to them a little more, and I think I kind of understand more what they're doing, even though I don't necessarily agree with it. But they're starting to, they were freaking out a lot this weekend. But one of the things they said that is absolutely true, they've been polling and these are the two best pollsters on the planet, in my opinion. They've been and they're both Trump guys. They've been polling the younger people, under 40s, but especially the 20 to 30-year-olds. And you know what they're finding? They're finding that the 20 to 30-year-olds, the next upcoming generation, isn't so much ideological. They're just tired of the status quo. They're tired of this government that gets nothing done for them, that's taken away their hope for a future. You see, these are kids who go to college, do everything they're told to do. They don't know that they're choosing a stupid major, but some of them aren't choosing stupid majors, and they're getting into the field and they're realizing there's no good jobs left for them. The guys in engineering or STEM, their jobs have been taken over by Indians with H-1B visas. They're going from these, and I get it. There's always the videos of the spoiled ones and everything, but that's not all of them. That's maybe 30% of them. It's a minority, but it makes a good video. But most of them are just kids trying to make it. Kids that got to 28, 29 years old and still can't even fathom buying a house. They're fed up. And I get it. Most of you get it too. I'm 42. I'm older past all of them. I have owned a house before, a small starter home. And then because of life, I no longer own one. And I don't know when I will again because of how much things have changed in the last 10 years. It's hard. I make the most money I've ever made, and I live paycheck to paycheck thanks to Biden's inflation. It's hard out there. It is. It's tough. I can't imagine being a kid right now. But they just want to turn it all down. So when Trump goes after them like this, guess what? Who doesn't care? The young people. They're not offended by this. They're saying, yes, this is what we want from our Trump. This is what we want from MAGA, the guy we voted for. He posted this as well. This is really bad and dangerous to our country. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up. Wow. Just called sitting senators traitors who committed sedition. Again, nothing's going to happen from this on a legal standpoint. He's not going to lock these guys up. There's too much fighting for that. And right now, the other Republicans don't have the stomach for it. But you know what this is? This is a shot fired across the bow. You guys want to go here? Watch, because I will go there. That's what Trump did today. And we don't have any of them backing off right now. They're squawking. They're making their big show of it about how this is all about Trump. And you know what, though? The people saw this and they loved it. Unless you're a liberal, you saw this today and you loved it. Because you saw what they did and you said, what the hell? You can't do that. These people aren't doing anything wrong. Maybe we don't like that he's sending the National Guard to these cities, but they're not doing anything wrong. Maybe we don't like them holding down DC and using soldiers to fight crime, but it's not illegal. Or if it is, Trump so far has shown himself to stand by every single judge order and then appealed it when it's overturned. He moves on and gets to keep doing it. But he's been following the law, so they don't have anything to stand on with this whole illegal thing. And the people know that. The people might get upset with Trump, but you know what people really get upset with Trump about? It's when they don't feel like he's going hard enough. This is not the kind of stuff that upsets them. But I'll tell you right now, the Democrats behind the scenes are reeling on this because they don't expect, they keep testing him. They want to see where he'll go, but Trump knows how to go just far enough without going too far in the moment. He knows it perfectly. And now they know. They know. Trump put it out there. He's willing to go Abraham Lincoln on him. Abraham Lincoln, who illegally suspended habeas corpus until 2 months later when it was ruled that he could do it. But in the moment it was illegal, and guess what? His soldiers listened to him. Abraham Lincoln, who illegally arrested members of Congress. Arrested them. Just because he knew he had to start taking drastic action. And in the moment, it was illegal. It wasn't until later it was determined that his actions were fine in the emergency they were in. See, drastic times call for drastic measures. The Civil War, drastic time, drastic measure. Right now, Trump's showing us we're actually in war. You don't throw this out there lightly. Trump used the word sedition on purpose. Traitor on purpose. Because now this flares up. This gets talked about for days and days, and you get a lot of people thinking about it. And once you put that, you plant it in the people's heads, the awakening keeps moving along. People get to think about it. All of a sudden, when he jumps out like this and then pulls back, people are thinking about that, and you can get there a little. You got to go slow, not too slow, but slower. But by the time you finally get there, the people will be ready. I think, guys, he's setting the stage. He called out this as well. Trump calls for Alyssa Slotkin, Mark Kelly, Jason Crow, and other members of Congress who are service members defy his orders to be arrested and put on trial. It's called seditious behavior at the highest level, his words. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. We won't have a country anymore. An example must be set. Oh, man, those are big words. An example must be set. Guys, I have a feeling it's about to get wild. The Democrats now have a choice. They can keep pushing and run into this. Now, Trump's going to let it bubble and simmer for a while. He's going to let the people start warming up to this idea. So when he finally, if he has to make the move in this direction, it'll be supported by the people. But the Democrats, they also have to make a choice. Do we keep going? Are we going to call his bluff? Or are we just going to backtrack, whine and cry and look super weak again and start losing politically instead? Either way they lose. Either way they lose. But we, especially those of us who've been in this a while watching, we can see exactly what's going on. This has been a war the entire time. Trump never said these things in his first term, especially not to sitting members of Congress. He didn't. It wasn't time yet. Even though I know it was happening, you know it was happening, at least most of you do. We know they've been trying to take this away from us for a long time, this beautiful country of ours. They've been trying to steal our wealth, our fortunes, our futures. And Trump is the wrecking ball that just smashed into all of it. And now he doesn't have to run again. They thought they had him weaker than ever, and he just put them on blast. Crazy, crazy times. I don't know if we've ever seen this before. And you can tell they're rattled. You want to know how I know? Hey, look, it's George Soros's boy. He had to make a big post. This is how it happens, Alex Soros says, son of George Soros. A president calls for his critics in Congress to be executed. People try to wave it away. This is how democracies fall and open societies fracture. Hey, you know who knows a lot about falling democracies and fracturing societies? How about the architect of several of them falling, of countries falling, economies crashing, societies fracturing left and right, especially in smaller countries, and making a pretty penny off of it? The one and only George Soros, my friends. Quite possibly the most evil man alive. This guy has been behind the scenes. He funded the BLM riots. He funds Antifa. Everything about him is subterfuge, sedition, fight from within, undermine, break up culture, break traditions, ruin culture, all to make societies fall. He knows better than anybody this is how stuff happens. No patriot should accept this. No American should look away. Dude, you're the last person who should be telling an American what to do. But when he's calling it out, I think he's, his dad is one of I don't know about public enemy number one, but he's public enemy top 10 to Trump. This is the kind of stuff that makes these people very, very scared. And the right is jumping to him, which I'm very proud of him. MAGA's jumping right in line to support. Here's Rich Barris. President of the United States is the extension of the sovereign voter and their only representative in the executive branch. Members of Congress are protected from saying just about anything, but they can't call for govcrats? I don't know what he means by that. Govcrats and a civilian-controlled military to defy him. You're absolutely right. Not only a civilian-controlled military by the one guy in the executive branch who we vote in, who he's also commander-in-chief. In other words, he's the extension of the people to run the military. That's how our system is set up. We vote a president in to trust with the military. Obviously, it hasn't always worked out. But that's the system, and that's our choices. They get us there. And so for them to try to get the military to turn against him, we've just never seen this before. And what's even worse, it was the minority party. So think about that. This is the party that says Trump is destroying democracy. And yet democracy spoke last November when Republicans swept in. And now the party that lost democratically, that has a minority in the Senate, minority in the House, minority in the Supreme Court, and lost the presidency, the democratically beaten up side that says democracy is going to die, well, they're the ones overcoming democracy right now. It's just, this is wild. Here's Bannon had something to say on it. And I want to play what he had. I think this is really good. And I screwed it up. I do that sometimes.
It's hard to shock me, but this crossing the line of these former CIA officers, Army officers, a Navy captain, Mark Kelly, I mean, that video will live in infamy. I am stunned of what they've tried to do. They are trying to insert themselves, I don't know, sedition or insurrection, to actually talk to the troops, to insert themselves between the military and the commander-in-chief. And as you know, President Trump, we got emergency orders, the invasion of the country. We've got a carrier battle group off of Venezuela. We have an amphibious ready group. We have 3,000 fleet Marines. They're talking about potential invasion. Now, we're not for the invasion, but you've also got, as the Washington Post, New York Times said, we have covert action going on right now. We have troops everywhere. They're negotiating a deal in Ukraine. They may have security guarantees, which we hate, but they're trying to negotiate with the Russians. They got this huge negotiation in Gaza. You have 200 boots on the ground in Israel right now as the logistics coordinator for the Gaza, for at least the Gaza, drawdown. So that's why I asked you to come in. I mean, you're the tip of the spear here for fighting these things. Is this to shock you just conceptually that now in our government, elected officials are actually looking into a camera and telling the military to disregard the orders of the commander?
Crazy stuff. I don't know if any of you guys were military. I know I wasn't, but my uncle and grandfather were. And they can't even fathom something like this happening. It's insane. But let's talk about the messaging here. So we come out, they come out, they choose to do this. They stir the pot. Okay, they're the ones calling for sedition, insurrection, whatever. Basically, I mean, that's how you can break it down. And I know there's going to be people out there who are like, that's not what they said. They were just reminding the troops not to go. Listen, 2 + 2 still equals 4, even if you don't want it to. Okay? We don't do that woke math here. With the timing, with what's going on, with who the Democrats are versus who Trump is, who the deep state is. I mean, it's not just the Democrats, but in this case, they're the ones, the easiest to point at as the enemy. You put it all together, it's obvious. That's exactly what's going on. And this is, the people who've been called conspiracy theorists this whole time for believing that Trump is more than just a regular president, for believing that Trump is more than just a guy elected and still part of our system and just does things a little differently because he's raw and outspoken and all the stuff that, a lot of people try to push him off as and be like, he's just, there's nothing special about this. There's nothing different. The deep state thing is a lie. This is, Trump is deep state, if you want to call it. It's like such nonsense. You get a day like today, and good luck making that argument anymore. I just don't see how you make it. This is the kind of thing that validates every single thing those of us who believe much more is going on here than meets the eye have been saying for several years. And so if you're like me and you've been one of the crazies, you've been one of the people hanging on, being like, nope, we believe there's so much more going on here. This is one of those days where you get to say, yeah, explain that one then, buddy. Explain what happened today. If it's just all, just he's just a regular part of the cog. It's just a little abnormal. Yeah, explain that one. Because this is exactly lines up with everything we've been saying. And it goes a little deeper. Look at this. This weekend, a movie called Nuremberg just released. Now, if those of you who know, Nuremberg, this movie is based on the true story of the military tribunals that were held after World War II for the Nazis. The Nazi leaders still left who were war criminals for what they did for not just the Holocaust, but also for how they killed Christians and the Poles and people with disabilities. I mean, they were executing all of them, just eradicating all of them left and right. And yes, a lot of it had to do with the Holocaust, of course, because that got the most press and was arguably the most people. But the point is it was about military tribunals, war criminals. All of this comes out. Trump just, right as this movie's out there, says, hey, sedition. You guys know what sedition is? It's treason. And it is punishable by death, arrest, and death penalty. Interesting timing. Very interesting timing. And if you think that's just a coincidence, well, oops, that's the wrong one. My bad. Do I have it? Yeah, if you think it's just coincidence, check this out. Trump retruthed it. He retruthed. So there is a new Nuremberg movie out. He retruthed this one, 2022. Clip from 2000 film Nuremberg, sentencing everybody death by hanging. Here's what he shared. All these years ago. This is John Rich who posted it.
Rudolf Hess.
Trump retruthed it.
On the charges of crimes against humanity, the tribunal finds you not guilty. But we find you guilty on counts 1 and 2, and thereby sentence you to imprisonment for life.
You see the message he posted here, referring to the radical left scoundrels like Adam Schiff. Who's indicted right now? Adam Schiff.
Admiral Wilhelm Keitel, guilty on all 4 counts. The tribunal sentences you to death by hanging.
Defendant Hans Frank. The tribunal finds you guilty on counts 3 and 4 and sentences you to death by hanging.
Julius Streicher, guilty on count 4, crimes against humanity. Death by hanging.
Defendant Schacht. The tribunal has come to the conclusion that the evidence against Hjalmar Schacht has not been established beyond a reasonable doubt, and therefore finds that Schacht is not guilty on this indictment.
Quiet, please.
The defendant, Karl Dönitz, guilty on counts 2 and 3. The tribunal sentences you to 10 years imprisonment.
Guilty on counts 3 and 4. The tribunal sentences you to death by hanging.
Balder von Schirach, guilty on count 4, 20 years in prison.
Alfred Jodl, on all 4 counts, guilty. Death by hanging.
Hans Fitt.
You get the idea. By the way, that was Alec Baldwin in that movie. He used to make good movies before he became crazy. But look that's the old one. And then the new one came out today with Russell Crowe in it. Here's the poster for the new one. I don't know. I mean, we could say coincidence. I don't know. I think it's strange. I really do. People get after me for some of the stuff I've believed in the past and some of the stuff I still believe here. And listen, I do believe some kind of crazy conspiracy stuff. I've researched a lot of this stuff, a lot of the things that were out there. Now, a lot of it's gone too crazy for me, and I'm like, no, I can't go there. We've had our conspiracy night talks, and I've told you guys kind of where I stand on all this. But the point is the one I really do subscribe to is that Trump is on a mission, working with other people to eradicate the deep state. But not just to eradicate the deep state, the machine, the bureaucracy, the systems they've built, the corrupt people that are in place constantly stealing from us and all that. No, not just that, but also to take out the traitors, to get rid of the treasonist. And, we have him posting this today. So we catch Obama and Biden, not to even mention the rest of their crew, spying on my campaign and nothing happens? I hope not. You think this is a little speaking into the future? I hope not. If it were the other way around, 50 years for treason, never forget. In other words, if he did it, 50 years for treason. So some people are out there saying they think this is Trump saying he's mad at Pam Bondi for not getting anything done. Sorry. Everybody behind the scenes, and I mean everybody, there is literally no talks of him being angry at them. No talk of him being upset at Patel and Bongino. And the people get upset because the wheels of justice turn slow. But the accounts are that Trump's very pleased with his entire cabinet. He doesn't want to risk it. He doesn't also want to have to put somebody else new up to be confirmed by the Senate because he can't trust that he'll get another person through, especially not somebody even more intense or better. No, they're not going anywhere. And I don't believe that's what this post was at all. I believe this post is foreshadowing. In other words, he let the Democrats know on blast today, I see your sedition. I see what you guys are doing. You guys know where that leads, right? That's what he was putting out there. And then on top of that, he's reminding everybody, yeah, and you guys in the past, I'm not letting you get away either. I haven't forgotten who's in charge. I really believe that's where this is headed. Now, are we going to get trials on TV like Nuremberg? I doubt it. Different times. It is. Some of this justice isn't going to be what we want. We might not get some perp walks. We might get former presidents, former major officials where their entire lives are just ruined. And maybe they're put on some kind of house arrest where we don't even know the details. That's fully possible. But, and having said all that, I have no doubt that we're going to see justice. I really do believe it's coming. I just don't know what it's going to look like. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be what I don't think it's going to be what a lot of people think it's going to be. Let me put it that way. And if you're expecting that you're going to see President Obama and Biden and these senators pulled out and hung in front of everybody or put in front of a firing squad or even put away permanently in prison, I don't see that happening. I just don't. But I do think we could see them disappear from public life. We could see them lose all their influence, their entire reputations tarnished. That might be what we have to live with. Rich Barris puts it out there too. He says, he didn't call to hang Democrat lawmakers who spoke out against him. It's outrageous any elected official would call on the military and bureaucrats defy the sovereign voters executive rep. That's sedition. He called for a legally permissible punishment for that crime. Legally permissible punishment for that crime. And there it is. Legally permissible. That's what we can't forget. That's what we can't forget. So, so crazy stuff, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know where you think it might be headed. Before I head on to the next section, let me catch up with let me catch up here in the chat. If Trump were truly falling apart, they would not have to blather on about it. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Cassink says the Epstein files are dead. Not one question today at the White House pressure. Let's do something else. That's because now that MAGA knows they're going to be released, MAGA's satisfied. MAGA trusts that Trump's not going to be in them. They just wanted to know he was going to do something about it. And so the vast majority of MAGA is going to be satisfied just knowing they're coming out. The left, on the other hand, is sweating right now. Because if they don't get a smoking gun with Trump, which they're not going to get, they're in trouble. I'm telling you right now, I've said it before, I'll say it again. They didn't believe it would pass the Senate because they thought they had Trump on something. And they thought if they passed it in the House, the Epstein files, Trump would tell the Senate not to pass it and it would get stalled in the Senate. But they also believe that even if the Senate passed it, Trump would veto it. And that way, because they thought maybe he really is in there, and Trump, the way he was acting, made them feel like they were absolutely right about that. They thought he would defend himself and they would never see the files come to light and they could use it as ammo against him for maybe the rest of his term. He never released the files, he's in them. They thought they could get away with it. When he swept the rug out from them, on Sunday and said, yeah, you know what? Go ahead and release him. And it moved like that. That surprised him. It surprised him. And guess what? The Epstein files now, Trump signed him yesterday to release him. What happens? We get that video right after he signs him. We get a video telling the military, don't do anything illegal. Go against your president. Basically what they said. This is crazy. None of this is coincidence. The timing is not coincidence at all. At all. Rumdog says, some people say George Washington was the greatest POTUS. I believe he was. CC in the house. What's up, brother? Trump garbage truck going to be making the rounds. Did I see Patton Oswalt on Bill Maher? Yeah, I did. He got exposed. You're absolutely right. Let's see. Judgment in Nuremberg came out of 1961. It's another great movie with William Shatner. Oh, I did not know they've made so many of them. History shows that when a civil war starts, the side the military affiliates with wins the contract. Yeah, well, yeah. And I'll tell you right now, the military is completely on Trump's side. His approval in the military is like 85, 90%. The military guys love him. My brother-in-law, who is an Army Ranger and now trains them, he's a liberal, which I don't understand it. I love the guy. We have great talks. I don't understand how he's a liberal. He's way too smart to be a liberal, but he's got his reasons. I don't think they're intellectual. I think he's butthurt. Some people hurt his feelings a long time ago, family members that were conservative, and now it's like his way of saying, F you, I'll be a liberal. That's where I really believe he's a liberal. Anyways, I was asking him because he was like really crying about Trump. He hates Trump. He was crying about Hegseth. And I was like, okay, well, I was like, but what do your buddies think in the military? And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, they love him, don't they? And he was like, yeah, they love him. So the military, they're all in on Trump. They love Trump. They love Hegseth. They love feeling like men are in charge of the military again. It's masculine again. And listen, women can serve, but you better believe it. Military has to be masculine to succeed. So if you can be a masculine woman, fine, go for it. But you cannot have a feminine military and it be strong. That's something men are good at. Men are better at fighting. That's just the way it is. And, you know, don't be offended by that, women. There's plenty you're better at. But the men of the military love that the masculinity is back. They got rid of the trans in the military. They got rid of the DEI. It's back, and they love it. They love it, and they love it. So there's no way. There's no way. And the Democrats know it. Do you see how when they're in the video, they're trying to appeal to them? I was former intelligence. I was former military. That's, you know, by the way, they're probably, the Democrats probably all tried to cook up this video and were like, we need former military members. And out of like 200 people in the House and Senate on the Democratic side, 6 raised their hands. That's how weak the Democrats are. You know, so I mean, I'm probably not far off on that, to be honest with you. But they found him, and they were trying to appeal, like, I did it, and part of my duty was to know what's illegal or not. Yeah, BS. I don't think it's coincidence at all either that Alyssa Slotkin is the main one in the video who started it, because she's former CIA. She's a spook. Yeah, CIA, probably arguably the worst part of the deep state, the part controlling presence, killed JFK, you name it, got us into wars, MK Ultra, all the crazy stuff of the CIA. Yeah, they're the worst of the worst. And Alyssa Slotkin, former CIA, led that video. Yeah, that's not coincidence at all. She knew what she's doing. They're all about playing mind games. Moody, Trump likes to tell people what he's going to do, but not everyone can read between the lines. You get Ace to point it out. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thanks, Moody. That's a great compliment. Please like and subscribe. Thank you guys for reminding me to spout it out there. Thank you, Mark R. Thank you, 84. Like, subscribe. Oh, that's Brett. See, Brett, I can't read the names. It's only showing me your tags, but I recognize your writing. Thank you guys for reminding me. Like, subscribe. Appreciate it. Got a lot more coming. Krypton says, curious on anyone's thoughts if this issue will last long enough to impact the January CR. The continuing resolution in January. I highly doubt it. We have an eternity until January right now. Because think about this. We're heading into the holidays. There's a lot about to go on. We're going to talk about what's coming up. But one of those things is Russia, Ukraine. That's about to be a big issue. One of the things is they're going to start hammering out some healthcare stuff. There's going to be leaks, little bit at a time, of the Epstein files. It's going to be nonstop news on that. And then the economy, especially the stock market. We might finally be at the breaking point, but I'm going to talk about that more at the end. Clintons have been pretty quiet. Oh yeah. Well, that's what I'm talking about. I think part of the justice is that these people are, what's the word I'm looking at? It's a different form of justice. It's not going to be as public, but I think some of them are just moved off to the side, their power taken away. And then eventually when it's fully done, whatever it is, there will be some public disclosure, but it's like I said, I just think it's going to look different than we all think it's going to look, but I don't doubt that it's coming. Vince says in Pam's defense, she's like 91% of court and understaffed. I agree. But still, come on. Well, let's judge Pam how things are at the end of the Trump term. I think it's way too early. It hasn't even been a year. It's way too early to judge if she's doing her job right or not. She's winning a lot in the Supreme Court. Got another huge win today, by the way, in the Supreme Court. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, too. Get Trump a technical dream code. I love it. Hollywood knows there may have been a Simpsons episode for this. I don't know. Maybe. CIA is not part of the Department of War, says Lockfeld. You're absolutely right. It's not. It's part of the executive branch. I don't know if it's under anything else. It just might be its own department. That's a good question. I don't know what the CIA is under, if anything other than the president. I don't know. Okay. Well, interesting stuff there. We're going to see how it plays out, but I do believe today was shots fired. I do believe today was a day of warning, a day of like, listen, guys, George Washington, our greatest president, our first president, what he would have done if what just happened. Yeah. So he's like Commodus and Gladiator right now. Am I not merciful? He's giving him the finger and saying like, I'm not killing you. You should be grateful to me. But he's also saying, don't force me to do it, because greater presidents than I would have taken care of this differently. So I definitely think there's some to that. Okay, let's move on here. I'm only going to spend a couple minutes on this, but we got to talk about Candace real quick. We got to talk about her. I want to avoid Candace Owens stuff, because every time I do this, I get people who are hardcore Candace Owens fans, and they're like, dude, you're dumb. You don't understand. She knows what she's talking about. Last time when I did a kind of a big segment on her, because there was a lot to talk about, and I called her sloppy, and I pointed out how she keeps making mistakes, how she keeps screwing stuff up, how she keeps contradicting herself. And I said, Candace, you got to do better. You can't be so sloppy. If this is true, stop being sloppy. And then somebody came to me, they were like, dude, you're stop being sloppy. Oh, okay. Good argument. Good argument, bro. Like, you don't go point by point with me. Another person was like, there is no evidence that the other guy did it. I was like, what are you talking about? That's where most of the evidence is. I'm not saying there's not weird stuff going on that we're trying to look into and figure out, but there is actual evidence, and the evidence supports this. It's just that there's not enough evidence for you to be happy. But don't say there's no evidence. These are the kind of people that come out of the woodwork every time I talk about Candace. And with that said, let's talk about Candace. Candace Owens tonight. She's on a new one. Here we go. Candace, tell me, who murdered Charlie Kirk?
I just want to know why Charlie. I want to know why the decision was made to murder Charlie Kirk, a decision that very clearly had to be approved by Charlie's friends.
What? Are you kidding me? And it's not it's not that she's saying like, man, could you imagine if Charlie's friends were in on this? I'm a little worried about what I'm finding, guys. No, instead it's a decision was made. A decision that had to be signed off by Charlie's friends. I mean, are you kidding me? This is such nonsense. She's playing a game. And anybody who can't see it, I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is not somebody straight talking to you. This is somebody who's acting. She's fully into the bit now. This is ridiculous.
That's all I have. I want to know why. I think we deserve to know why. And instead,
you see how she's looking into the different distance? When I'm making a point to you guys, where do I look? I'm looking in the camera. I'm trying to make a point to you guys. I'm saying like, listen to me. This is, do you see me just like look at her eyes? I just want to know why. I just want to know why. Why do birds sing? Charlie, please come back. Charlie, could you come tell me who killed you again? Charlie, you spoke to me a month ago. I told my viewers in the dream. You told me, Candace, find out. Charlie, come back. Who does this?
You know why? And instead, we're going to be sued.
Look. This is a joke. This is an absolute joke. I'm sorry. Let's hear what she's saying.
I guess, is this going to be the pathway forward? You're going to start murdering more people in broad daylight for knowing? Is that our consequence? Is that like the slave consequence? Is that like, catching a slave and cutting off their limbs?
What?
For knowing that you're evil? For finding out? For us understanding what we have known from the moment that we saw Charlie die?
There's a tell for a lie by there, right there. Okay. Here, so she's looking at the camera now. She's got some conviction, and then here comes the lie. Watch how her eyes drift.
For finding out, for us understanding what.
Understanding, and then right when she says, we've known from the moment, that's when the lie clicks in.
We have known from the moment that we saw Charlie die, and people started peddling out excuses after excuse why we weren't allowed to look into this. I think all we want to know is why. We want to know what that slave did wrong.
Those eyes that keep moving, that's when she's checking. Her mind is thinking, she's trying to make stuff up. I mean, this is insane. This is insane. She just basically called Charlie's friends. Guess who Charlie's friends are, by the way? J.D. Vance, Don Jr., Kash Patel. Yeah, his friends. Those who knew Charlie. Those who he was buddy-buddy with. Those who got him into the White House and would get Trump's ear for him. Charlie's got to talk to you. These guys were like brothers. They had to sign off on it, apparently. I mean, come on. Come on. But hey, then we get this gem here. Actually, I'm not going to play her full clip. I don't want to spend much time on this. But her latest thing with the the Egyptian planes. Well, it turns out that her big thing yesterday, which I didn't get to talking about, was that this was a Secret Service plane, and it's been following them around. It's tied to our government, and it went to this address in Delaware. Well, guess what? She found out today. The email from someone claiming to have inside knowledge about why our Egyptian plane landed in Delaware. The tip said directions point to the address, 1 Rodney Square, 920 North King Street, Wilmington. It's the address of her lawyer. She got pranked, and she read it out as a fact, as a gotcha moment, as a big revelation. Oh my God, the rabbit hole goes so deep, Candace. It goes so deep. Well, I just now, what is it now? Hey, Candace, are you in on it? Was your lawyer following Erica around for the last 3 years? Oh my God. Candace, it comes back to you. Oh, Charlie. Listen, this is such an insanity. I just do not, I don't understand it. I listen, she's got 3 million regular viewers at this point. She's the biggest podcast in the world at the moment because it's Charlie Kirk stuff. There's so many people who are smart being duped by this woman right now. And listen, some of the stuff when she started, it was interesting. I'm not going to lie. The early stuff when she first started, I was like, yeah, okay, this just happened. There's some questions to be answered. But the further it goes, the crazier it gets and the more obvious it is that she's just playing a part. Who's putting you up to this, Candace? You don't need the money. I mean, my God. You guys want to know what the latest thing is? This was all today. The latest brand new thing is that she today, I didn't bring this, I don't have a post for it, but you guys can look it up. The latest today is, you're not even going to believe this. She's now saying Brigitte Macron was behind it in a major way, like is one of the people who organized this. Brigitte Macron. If you don't know why that's hilarious, well, Candace's last months long dialogue and investigation was into Brigitte Macron being a man instead of a woman, which, you know what? That one was a whole lot more believable than the Charlie Kirk stuff. But to tie it now, you know what she just did by doing that? She's like, hey, by the way, you people on the Brigitte Macron, you know, you're kind of tired that I'm not talking about her anymore. She's in on it. She killed Charlie Kirk. Just is so insane. Just, God, my God. Why? I just, for the first month she was doing this, I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. I was just like, this is weird. I don't get it, Candace. I think you're all over the place. But now it's over. She's gone crazy. And in fact, I have to move on. We can't do this anymore. I just can't talk about her anymore. It's driving me crazy. Moody says a Comer's issuing subpoenas for the Clintons, talking about jail for them if they don't appear. Oh, beautiful. That's great. CIA is independent. Thank you, Lochtfeld. I thought so. Brett, I'm sorry this whole thing for Candace right now. It's absolutely for optics. She's got the cross in the background. Yeah. You've seen Stevie Wonder do that? Yeah, he's blind. He's playing, you know. High ground. And Candace may have to work at McDonald's after this. Your wife's convinced still believe. Oh, Vince. Oh, my God. She looks like a skinny Omarosa. She wants to be the new Alex Jones. You know, here's the thing. Candace is beautiful. She's brilliant. She's very well spoken. She obviously knows how to market herself. I mean, her new show, I mean, other than her husband's money behind it, which probably has got a lot of spending on that promotional ads. I'm going to tell you, I'm not, you know, I know how this stuff works, folks. But all that aside, she keeps the viewers and she's got a big following. And the reason is she's beautiful and she's brilliant. She knows what hits. She knows how to keep them watching. And, you know, I mean, good for her. But she doesn't have the crazy, and I like Alex. She doesn't have the crazy that Alex has, where she'll have the diehards that will watch her for 10 years. If she keeps going on like this, her viewership will start falling off hard in the next 6 months, because she's not going to ever be able to produce receipts. And that's the problem. Once the trial happens and all the evidence gets out there and we find out Tyler Robinson really did do it, or we find out like he had an accomplice, but he was part of it, because I have no doubt he was part of it. Whatever we find out, it's gonna leave her with not much else, and she's gonna have to move on to something new. People will get tired of that at some point. Not everybody, but she won't be the biggest in the world. Alex, man, he's got people that'll watch him no matter what, because the damn frogs are turning gay. And you know, who's gonna leave that? That's entertainment right there, you know. Forbidden says maybe she's gonna declare insanity as a defense when they sue her for slander and defamation. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But she's smart. Maybe she's walking the line just enough where they don't actually have enough to go off of. I don't know. Yeah, YouTube dumped your name, bro. So sorry. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you, sir. All right, let's move on. We need to move on. All right, huge news today. They announced a peace plan between Russia and Ukraine. Remember, I hinted at this the other night? Well, now the details are out. 28-point peace plan. Boring stuff. Ukraine sovereignty confirmed. Russia won't invade anywhere else. NATO won't expand further. That's a big one. But there's a couple really interesting ones. Size of Ukrainian armed forces limited. Ukraine agrees to enshrine its constitution and won't join NATO. NATO won't put troops in Ukraine. Those are all really big ones. U.S. gets compensations for its guarantee, so there's that. Ukraine can join the EU. Russia reintegrate into the global economy. Oh, man. Guys, I told you. This is why Trump met with Putin in Alaska. It wasn't about Ukraine. It might have been a little bit, but it was really about this, the massive boost to the economy that'll happen if we become trade partners with them. United States will enter a long-term economic cooperation for mutual development in energy, natural resources, infrastructure, AI, data entries, rare earth metal extraction, the Arctic, and other mutually beneficial. That's it. Oh my God. I get to do another, my God, folks, how often am I just going to keep being proven right? I surprise myself. I do. Rush, are you up there? You know, Rush got talent on loan from God. Maybe I'm getting talent on loan from Rush lately. Because dang it, man. I keep hitting these. This is exactly what I said we wanted. Exactly. There, it's in writing now. Do you know what that'll do for our economy? We start getting their oil for cheap. We start getting their, oh my God, we won't need China anymore for any resources. Forget about it. Unbelievable. There's a couple other interesting stuff here, but one of the really interesting ones, let's see where it is. Yeah, here it is. Ukraine, if they get on this, they forced to hold elections in 100 days. So they hold an election 100 days, get rid of Zelensky. So very, very interesting stuff. Very interesting. What's up, Ryan Edberg? Stevie Wonder's not blind. Oh, man. You know what? I don't even care. It doesn't matter, Vince. I'm going to continue to believe he's blind. I don't even care if he is. How is Zelensky going to finish his new ski resort without our money? Well, that's a good question. You know, he hasn't been getting our money, though, for a while. The NATO pays for our stuff now. We get checks for that stuff. We don't get any more, so... Vince says that would mean there's no wars anywhere. When's the last time that happened? I know, at least not anything like globally interesting. There might be some small skirmishes here and there still left, but you're right, man. If he knocks this out, if this happens, I mean, not only will it stop the wars, it'll end all the globalist power right now of trying to suck us into anything, of trying to, use this World War III stuff. It'll be a massive knock on their power and their money because the bankers, they love wars, man. And then the fact that we would have an economic partnership with Russia, which is long overdue, friends, long overdue. There's no reason we haven't had this in place since the 90s, but just amazing, amazing stuff. What Trump is pulling off, I get it. I get that we wish we saw the corrupt people here perp walked and put in prison. I get it. Listen, I want that too. But dude, how can we be upset? This is incredible. Now we'll see if this happens. But I'll tell you what, Trump went to Putin. They signed off on it. So it's only Ukraine who's going to be pressured by Europe not to take this. But I have a feeling Trump is going to force it through. He's either going to force it through, or if they don't take it, there's going to be consequences. There's going to be consequences. So we're going to see what's going on. Shogun asks, is there a chance for us to be in war with Venezuela? We will not go to war with Venezuela. What's going on in Venezuela is a show of force. We are threatening the snot out of them. We are going to put the fear of God into them. We might do some targeted strikes. but there will not be a war. Trump's not going to get us into a war, especially now with a weak little country like Venezuela. Trump's not going to put troops on the ground. I guarantee you he will not put troops on the ground unless there's a direct threat to us. Venezuela is not a threat, at least not in that way. But the pressure is going to be mounted, and they are going to they're going to just it's like a siege. You know, in the old days, one of the ways the great armies took down a city, they didn't just go barging at the city, break down the walls. They couldn't. They sat outside the city, sometimes for months on end, and the city slowly started starving. And once the city was weak enough, that's when they made their move. And that's what we're doing with Venezuela. We're sieging them. There's not going to be a war. There's not going to be a war. There'll barely even be a skirmish if there's anything other than shooting down their boats. But Maduro will be gone. Trump's got a plan, and Rubio's got a plan, and they're gonna knock this out. And I can't wait to see how it goes down. But it won't be a war. I'll tell you that right now. I feel very, very confident about that. Okay, let's keep moving. Okay, so Dick Cheney died. Good riddance. And had a funeral today, to which former vice president dies. Trump and J.D. Vance were not invited. Big surprise there, right? I'm sure Lynn Cheney did not want to see them. But coming out of this, we got all the deep staters together. All of them. Look at, including Dr. Fauci and Rachel Maddow. Now, friends, I mean, come on. If that doesn't tell you, there's Carville, Fauci, Maddow. I mean, if that doesn't tell you that they're all in on it together, I don't know what does. This is Dick Cheney. Maddow, at one point, is calling him, Hitler or Darth Vader. And, he was the most evil man alive during the Bush administration. And now these people can't wait to be at Dick Cheney's funeral. James Carville, are you kidding me? Fauci? Guys, it's all a big club and we're not in it. Just like George Carlin would say, except for Trump. Trump's the great equalizer. He's the only one. It's funny, you see all these people together, Democrats, Republicans, hardcore liberals, and the only people not invited are Trump, the Trump administration. Is that, I mean, at this point, if somebody, anytime somebody tells me at this point, like their argument is that Trump is one of them, I'm just like, do you need help? Where's the special bus? Did you just get off of it? Seriously, how can anybody with a brain think that anymore? The evidence is so overwhelming that he is not in the club. Were white envelopes handed out today? I don't know. I didn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. Are Fauci and Maddow an item now? I mean, Maddow might go there for the money. She's a flaming lesbo. And that's why she keeps looking more and more like a dude. Yeah, George Bush looks terrible. I did see that. Timu Obama's working on getting Venezuela SNAP benefits. But, so they're all together. Now, again, this is interesting. So we're at the time right now, right? The PSYOP started 2.5 weeks ago, where we had the neocons and the America First wing. And I don't mean the real America First, but I mean the people who say they're the real America First wing. You guys watch my show, you know what I'm talking about. We had that going on, and they were ramping it up. And what did I tell you guys when that was happening? I told you guys the Bush, Cheney, DeSantis wing. Unfortunately, DeSantis is a part of it. I hope he gets away from it, but he was definitely on that side in the primaries. McConnell and Paul Ryan made sure of that. But we're talking about the Romney wing, the McCains, Bush, the old school Republicans who are deep state, who are uniparty. They're the neocons. That's who Ben Shapiro's on the side of. That's who Mark Levin is on the side of. These guys were ramping it up. Ted Cruz is one of them. Ramping it up. Being like, oh, we smell blood in the water. We can divide MAGA or maybe take it over because we want our power back. I told you guys this. Well, look at this headline today. Bush family plotting comeback to retake GOP from Trump. My God. What do I always tell you guys? If you want the news days ahead of time, watch my show. There it is. It's out there now. It's like, Breitbart reporting it. It took 2.5 weeks, but now we're getting headlines. That's exactly what they're doing. Exactly what they're trying to do. They want it back. They're tired of being out of power. They haven't had power now since 2015. Jeb was the chosen one until Donald Trump walked up on that stage and said, "What, low energy Jeb?" Took him out with one phrase, "Low energy Jeb," and Jeb Bush never recovered. Never recovered. Have you even heard of him since then? He was the chosen one. He was like that. He was a shoo-in. The Republicans were all behind him. He had all the fundraising on his side. Rubio thought he had a chance. He was young. He was going to be the whippersnapper trying to knock him out. Ted Cruz was like, I can beat you. I'm more conservative. They'll unite behind me. But the Republican Party, the stalwarts, the ones who really control the strings, they had anointed Jeb, and they were going to make sure that he was going to get through that primary until Trump showed up. And then low energy Jeb. So it was that easy. That's all it took. I love it so much. And they are pissed. That was supposed to be them. The Bushes, the great leaders of the Republican Party. 2 presidents. 2 in 15 years. 3 out of 5 terms, with just a little interruption by Clinton, was Bush's. And it was supposed to be Jeb. And they were all going to be okay with it. That was the deep state pick. And guess what? It was foiled. And they are pissed. Because Bush was the chosen leader of the McConnell, Ryan, Romney, McCain Republicans. The people who none of us really loved. We just accepted because it was like, well, we can't go Democrat. They're crazy. We always wanted the conservatives, Pat Buchanan, maybe a Rick Santorum. They never had a chance in the primaries because they never had the money. It was always the moderate. And we just hoped to God when we voted for them, they'd get in and be more conservative, be more for the people. And they would just give us just enough to be like, well, it could have been worse. Could have been Gore. Could have been John Kerry. Ugh. But that's it. That's all they ever gave us. We had to vote for McCain just to try to not get Obama. They forced us to vote for Romney to try to not get Obama the second time. I did it with bile in my mouth. Just a protest vote. Save this country from Obama. God, I'm happy Romney never won. But they want it back. But here's the thing. The Republican Party no longer belongs to them. The infrastructure does. The RNC does. A lot of the players behind the scenes that are Republicans, been there for 20, 30 years, they still believe in that. That's who they still are. See, the Trump administration, there's a reason he brought in a bunch of people who are not old school Republicans. There's a couple who slipped through, like Rubio, but Rubio was an upstart. He was never fully vetted by them. He was never fully in the club. J.D. Vance, definitely not in the club. Trump brought in a ragtag team, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. He brought in true Americans who love the country. He didn't play that game. In the first term, he played that game. And they undercut him at every opportunity. They tried to turn him into a traditional Republican. Didn't work. It slowed him down. And they were stoked when he wasn't coming back until he did. He learned his lessons. And is why it's so much more powerful this time. They're pissed. They're pissed. And the problem is they already know J.D. Vance is going to be the next president. And they are trying so hard to take JD out. And Ted Cruz is their chosen one. Ted Cruz and whispers right now, very, very small whispers. But there are whispers of DeSantis trying to rise up from the ashes again, because he will no longer be governor in 2027 of Florida, which means he'll be free to campaign full time. So I believe we'll start hearing from DeSantis again. DeSantis, wonderful governor, wonderful. Runs that place very well. The problem is DeSantis made an oath, well, maybe not an oath, a deal, a pact, that if he runs for Republican, they will come, he's going to work with them. Because DeSantis just wants to be president. He didn't learn the MAGA lesson. And so he just needs to stay in Florida, because he'll bring these guys back in with him. Trump's in the club with 50 Cent, Make America Great Again. I love that. Statement straight retarded. I just can't come up with anything else. Hey, Jenny, what's going on? Jenny. Lochtenfeld says Bush was a terrible president, nice person, lousy president. You know, he's nice to your face. But when you realize, like, what Bush was willing to do, all the people he was willing to kill in the Middle East stuff, I don't see that as a nice person. He's cordial. But George Bush has a lot of blood on his hands. A lot of blood on his hands. All right, let's keep going. A couple other big things happened today. So, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Trump over Boasberg. This guy has been a major thorn in Trump's side. He tried to stop Trump from using the Alien Enemies Act to deport illegals. Now it's in effect. Thank you, Supreme Court. Boasberg, loser, done. He's out. His case is out. Trump can now deport much more swiftly, without getting slowed as much for due process. So, huge win at the Supreme Court today there. Speaking of JD Vance, JD was just killing it today. But listen, I was talking about JD. Listen, this is exactly why, right here, why the Bush wing of Republicans is terrified of him and want to get rid of him.
I think it's a huge mistake. Look, the American people don't want stupid wars and America's jobs going overseas and wide open borders. That is, whether intentional or not, that was the legacy of the Republican Party that came before Donald J. Trump. I'm glad the president got us away from that Republican Party. It lost, but it was also a disaster for the United States of America. Let's actually have a foreign policy where we focus on the interests of American citizens. Let's have an economic policy that's about building in the United States of America rather than shipping all of our jobs overseas and getting Wall Street enriched in the process. Let's have an economic policy that's about more self-sufficiency. I mean, I have 3 kids. I have an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old. I don't want to wake up in a country where I take my kid to the doctor and they can't get antibiotics, because the antibiotics that were invented in the United States of America are manufactured in some foreign country. That is the legacy of the Republican Party that came before Donald J. Trump. We're not going back to it. I think it's a huge
Hold on. Let's just hear this again. First, okay, right at the beginning here. Whoa. Pause. Why won't I pause? There we go, finally. Jeez Louise. Okay. He's asked about the going back to the old Republican Party and the thoughts of it. And then just listen to the first couple words here.
I think it's a huge mistake. Look, the American people don't want stupid wars.
Stupid wars. That's a direct attack on Bush.
And America's jobs going overseas. And wide open borders.
Wide open borders. There it is. And then what he says at the end here is so good. They're trying to get the party back. And what does JD say as he looks right at the people?
That is the legacy of the Republican Party that came before Donald J. Trump. We're not going back.
We're not going back to it, as he stares at the camera and at the people right there. Boom, baby. He knows. He knows they're after him. And he just flat out looked at him, said, we're not going back. Oh, man. Guys, is politics not the most exciting stuff like to watch? I mean, come on. This is better than Game of Thrones. This is better than anything on TV. It probably won't be like this again. After Trump, after all this is done, after we get back on track in this country, we can go back. We do enough to make sure of that, but we can go live in our lives. But right now, as this war is going on, as literally there's a war going on in the Republican Party, insanity forever, as we are at the juxtaposition, the crossroads for the next couple years until to win, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We cannot have a Democrat. We cannot let a Republican showed you why. He just showed you why. He's not afraid, and we're not going back. It's beautiful. But guys, this is, I mean, we're watching it in real, let's talk about this week. Epstein files, the insanity of that. We got the seditious saying we want our party back. JD Vance telling them no. I mean, my God, can you see it? When you put all the pieces together and you see it, it's hard to see it on its own because it is the show. It is the best show. It is incredible. It is incredible. Hillary was going to whoop his ass. You talk about Jeb? Maybe. There's a big anti-democratic sentiment at that time. But yeah, Hillary probably would have won. And then here's a little more Vance today. This was at what he did was a fireside chat, and just really good stuff. This is the future president. This is what we need to hear. We need to hear from him. This is how you're going to win the election.
Big news this morning is new jobs numbers blew away expectations.
Huge.
From the September numbers, so these were delayed because of the government shutdown, more than double, 119,000 new jobs. And then also there's some interesting stuff in the wages numbers there as well that shows wages on the rise. Your thoughts on the jobs numbers?
Okay, so a huge jobs report, and I assume the market is going crazy right now, probably just opened, because what this shows is that the Trump economic policies are actually working. And you've got 119,000 new jobs. Economists thought that we would have about 50,000 new jobs, but that's actually just the headline number. If you look below the surface, I think the numbers are actually better. So number one, wages continue to way outpace inflation. If you go back to the 3 years of the Biden administration, the average American worker actually lost about $3,000 of take-home pay. In the first 10 months of the Trump economy, we've increased take-home pay by about $1,200, adjusting for inflation. So that's a huge, huge thing, and this jobs report confirms that. You have the number of manufacturing hours worked in the economy is actually going up. You see the private sector is really driving this economic growth and is driving the job creation. And this is really important, I know, to you, Matt, but really to me. And it's that we are seeing the job growth go to native-born American citizens. And what happened under the Biden administration is, to the extent there was any job growth at all, if you looked at the data, almost all of the net job creation in the United States under the Biden administration went to the foreign-born. Now, of course, some of those people are illegal immigrants to the United States, but that means that a lot of the job creation was actually going to illegal aliens who shouldn't have been in our country. The best thing that you can say about the Trump economy is that American jobs are going to American workers for a change, and that's the thing that I'm proudest about with these numbers.
So good, so good. And he's absolutely right. So on that note, let's finish with a little economic report, especially after what happened in the markets today. So I was just looking at something and saw that the Japan, the interest rate in Japan just went nuts. So is my stream breaking up? Oh no, it's terrible. No. Why are they trying to kill my stream, man? Let's see here. How bad is it? How bad is it? All right, looks like it's come back. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. I cannot control that, unfortunately. That sucks. I hate when they try to kill my stream. Am I back? Am I back? Did you guys refresh? Am I doing okay now? Let me see on my end what it looks like. Okay, I'm good. All right, good. That's a bummer. I had a good little crowd there for a bit there. Ah, stupid stream kill, man. They're doing that on purpose. They don't like what I'm saying. Okay. Anyways, yeah, numbers are going to keep getting better, as Alan says. I agree with you. But so, anyways, in Japan, the interest rate on the bonds just went up. The bond rate just went up, and it's going to be very, very bad for the global economy because so much debt is there in Japan. And I've talked to you about the carry trade before. Well, that just happened. And then tomorrow is the biggest November options expiration ever. So after what we saw today, NVIDIA earnings last night, okay, job numbers came out were great, just like JD was saying for September. But so it's what I've been telling you guys. Main Street is getting better, whereas the markets are starting to break. But because of what happens, because of the fact that the Main Street's getting better, if the markets crash, it can weather the storm and will pick up. And I think we'll be off to the races by Q2, the end of Q2 of 2026, just in time for the midterms. But let's talk about in the markets today. BAM put up this great post. So the NVIDIA, which was the earnings last night, shiny object was the misdirect while they moved Bitcoin back to the November lows. Bitcoin's been getting crushed. That's what triggered the QQQ NASDAQ sell program. If you're monitoring these tick charts, they're finally acting different today as well. Someone knows something big is coming. Be super careful the next 24, 48 hours. And right after he posted this, the market started tanking today. And it's up again in futures, but tomorrow could be crazy. It might be up tomorrow, but the point is we're at the point where the markets are starting to show cracks and they're starting to lose some control. And at some point, it's going to break. We're very close. If NVIDIA couldn't get the market up all day today with those blowout earnings they posted, there's something seriously wrong. And now we don't think a rate cut's coming. If a rate cut's not coming, NVIDIA earnings are already out, there's nothing for the markets to look forward to pump right now. There's no narrative. So, guys, what's going to keep it up? What's going to keep it up? But anyways, let's look at the Main Street. This is what's so powerful, what JD was talking about. Since January, native-born Americans have gained 2.6 million jobs. That's incredible. For the last couple of years of the Biden administration, there was a net negative for native-born workers. But 1 million foreign-born workers have lost a job. A complete reversal. It's just incredible. Under Biden, the foreign-born were their jobs, they were increasing, and native-born was decreasing. They literally were taking our jobs right out in front of us in the numbers. And they would never tell us that because they would just tout, they've got all these job numbers. Let's look at the Biden, what they're doing. By the way, those are all fake. Remember, they had to redact them and revise them by like -1 million jobs for last year. Yeah, crazy stuff. But so here's how it came in: 119,000 versus 51,000 expected. That's like 125% more than expected. That's a pretty big deal. And yet somehow the unemployment rate went lower. I don't know how this always works. They did revise August down a little bit, but these numbers more than make up for it. So, and that, like, great job numbers, NVIDIA earnings crazy, and the market is way down. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. That's showing major weakness, guys. We got Michael Burry out there just hitting it. Burry, Thiel, SoftBank, all out of AI. And what the rumbling is that the AI bubble might be very close to bursting. These guys certainly think so. This is what Burry posted. Every company listed below is suspicious revenue recognition. Actual chart with all the give and take deals would be unreadable. Future will regard this a picture of fraud, not a flywheel. True end demand's ridiculously small. Almost all customers funded by their dealers. If you can name OpenAI's auditor in 1 hour, you win some pride. In other words, right now what they're saying with NVIDIA and all these AI companies is that basically they're just raising money and they're just giving the money to each other, and it just keeps circling around. And so none of this money is actually profit. None of it's actually building anything. It's all just this giant, for lack of a better term, sorry guys, circle jerk. And as this keeps getting shown, guys, people are getting wise. Once they all find out, NVIDIA, with their massive earnings last night, You know what also is massive? Their inventories. If they're selling so many chips, why is their inventories full? That makes no sense. So there's a lot of smoke right now, guys. And where there's smoke, there's fire. The fire is about to burn. And when it does, this bubble go. And when it does, the market's going down. I don't know how far. I can't tell you that. But it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. But thank God Trump, what I believe he's been doing is he's been building up Main Street so that when the financial sector goes through all this, Main Street will be strong enough where it'll still be affected, but it won't be nearly as bad as it would have been in the past. He's getting the investment in, he's getting the deregulations, the tax cuts. All of that's good for Main Street. It's going to keep people freer. It's going to keep capital moving, even if the financial sector has a major hit. So again, it could be like 1 quarter maybe of recession, which is not a recession. You need 2 quarters. Unless you're Biden, then you need, I don't know how many, because he had 2 quarters and they didn't call it a recession. But it'll be fast and turn around quicker. And this is really cool. Scott Bessent, speaking of next year and the reason why I'm so helpful about next year. I mean, listen to this.
First rare earth magnet made in the United States in 25 years.
Did you hear that? First rare earth magnet made in the United States in 25 years. Oh, but I thought that, no, they keep saying we can't do manufacturing here. Trump's tariffs are all a lie. It's not happening. The first rare earth magnet made in America in 25 years in South Carolina. Guys, the manufacturing is happening. It's coming back. It's not all at once. It's going to take some time, but it is already happening. We're already using rare earths here. Trump and them have been doing so much investment into our economy already. It is happening. They're doing it as fast as they can, and they're doing a lot of it. The media is ignoring it because the media wants us to believe his policies are failing. But here's Scott Bessent proving it, that it's happening. And next year, I do think we're going to start seeing some really good stuff. We got to go through that pain first in the markets. And the question is, when will it happen? The sooner the better, honestly, for the midterms and for Trump. But I do there's a scenario where somehow, by some miracle, the markets don't crash all year. The economy improves. We win the midterms, and the markets then crash after. I think that's that's possible. But I got to tell you, with what I'm seeing, and then with what I'm hearing from Bam and his model, I don't know how they make it through this next couple months without something happening. It's the worst it's been since 2022. And you guys remember 2022. 2022, it almost crashed, but it was down like 20% on the year before it turned around. So it was a slow moving, pretty big correction in 2022, but they avoided the crash. This is the worst it's been since then. And this time, they don't have the AI bubble to build back up. So, very interesting things going on, guys. But, what a day. What a day. What a world. What a crazy time we live in. So, on that note, guys, I hope you guys have a great night. I'm very excited about the future. I think so many good things are happening. I think we got our mojo back. I can't wait to see how they start dripping out the Epstein files. You know they're going to use them against Democrats in the worst way. So that's going to be really interesting. And I'm very, very interested to see what happens in the economy tomorrow, especially the markets tomorrow, I should say. If it's a down day, especially a big down day, it might have started. Today might have been the beginning. We'll see. We'll see. Telling me the market is the deep. What do you mean by that? Only NY and NYC will be affected by stock market. No, I mean, I disagree with that. I think there's a lot of places heavily dependent on nonstop financial maneuvering and lending, including Silicon Valley. I mean, there'll be a lot of places affected, but yeah, I do think we can get through it a little faster than you think. Thank you, Mark R. Appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. Thanks, guys, for that. Oh, the market is the deep state's last gasp for power. I didn't read the whole thing. Oh, it might be. Might be. It's their nuclear. That's interesting. Is Bitcoin down to 86? Hold on a second. No way. You know, BAM was seeing a lot of weakness in the so here's futures right now. You know, pretty green. But yeah, Bitcoin just getting, whew. Bitcoin just getting reamed. Yikes. All right. Well, let's see what happens. What's going on in Asia? Oh, Asia's getting crushed. That might be the sign of what's coming tomorrow, guys. We'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. Well, hey, before I go, please like, share, subscribe. If you're on X, if you would repost, I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to follow me, that'd be great too. Let's end in a prayer because God knows we need it. God knows President Trump needs it to get all this done. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless these people, Lord. Thank you so much for them and their support. I just pray a blessing over everybody in the audience tonight in Jesus' name. Just bless what they need. Be with them, Lord. I pray that they just, they just can experience you in the best ways. And Father, I pray for President Trump and the administration. You protect them, give them wisdom and boldness. That everything we need to get done in this country in these next 3 years gets done. I pray that you give them the strategies to boom the economy, to get justice done, and to win the midterms and stay in power, Lord, so we can get more and more done in the ways that matter most, that last, in Jesus' name. And Lord, we pray for our country, pray for justice, peace, prosperity to come back to our country, and we truly see a golden age. And again, just bless everybody here. Bless their health, their finances, Lord, their relationships, and whatever they need. Be with them, Lord. Be with us all. Amen. All right. Love you guys. Have a blessed night. And I'll be off for the weekend unless something big happens. So, and members, I'll make it up to you soon. Don't worry. I'll talk to you guys soon. God bless you. Have a wonderful night.